welcome to For These Are My Thoughts. Today we have a very special Christmas animated episode for you. See, I'm animated. Last year we had a 'Twas the Night Before Christmas parody, and this year we are parodying How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So without further ado, let's steal Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and deep in the house, I was snuggled in bed.
Wait. I want to tell the story this year.
Okay, Stone Cold. Nice to see you, but go ahead.
Alright, here we go. Once upon a time. I said once upon a time. Many moons ago. It was Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. I said once upon a time on Christmas Eve.
Okay, Stone Cold. I think this bit has run its course. Wait, are you Santa this year?
Anyways, there was a town in Wisconsin that drank good beer. 'Twas the best place to visit with Santa's reindeer. And a man named Blake lived in that town, and while everyone smiled, his face was a frown. His neighbors loved Christmas, everything it held dear. They decorated their homes with great laughter and cheer. They decked out their churches, their bars, and their homes with lights, displays, and blow-up Christmas domes. But Blake hated this all for one particular reason.
They're making a mockery of the Christmas season.
For each year during Christmas, Blake decorated his house. He thought it looked tasteful, he and his smoking hot spouse.
Oh, hey, nice callback to last year, Stone Cold.
Thanks, but shut up, kid. But their house's decorations looked quite sad compared to the setup his smug neighbor Clark had prepared.
He adds something new every darn stinking year,
Blake exclaimed to his wife while he drank a cold beer. Each year it gets bigger and bigger, it seems.
Last year he brought in 2 ice hockey teams.
But what bothered Blake most wasn't the themes or teams. It was the bright lights that shone like a Jumbotron screen.
Each year it gets brighter and brighter,
he cried as he peered through his window each night as he spied. It was true. Every year Clark outdid himself. One year he had 100 glimmering elves. Clark was beloved by those on the block. Together they'd come to his lawn in great shock. The whole neighborhood joined the decorating madness, even crabby old Mr. and Mrs. McManus. And each Christmas Eve the neighborhood gathered. It started as something completely haphazard. And together they'd sing the song Silent Night. And when they were done, Clark would flip with great might a giant light switch made of cardboard, and the sight made old ladies cry out,
"Oh dear Lord."
The lights would shimmer and shine oh so bright, blinding Blake as he drove home each Christmas Eve night. Last year as he drove, they flipped the big switch. It blinded him, and he drove straight in the ditch.
"I nearly died last year,"
Blake said very gruff.
"I'm done with Clark's lights. I've just had enough."
When suddenly on his home TV screen, he noticed an ad for an awesome machine. A giant machine that sucked up explosives. He knew this would help his anti-Clark motives.
"Oh, yes,"
he exclaimed in a spine-chilling voice.
"I'll suck up their decor, and then I'll rejoice."
So he got on the line, bought the fiendish machine. His smiling face looked evil and mean. Once the instrument of his wicked plan came, he cracked a cold beer and gave it a name.
"On the night of the 23rd, bro, we ain't messin'. You and I will teach Clark and these fools a great lesson."
And when that 23rd night came around, all his neighbors asleep, tucked in sweet and sound, Blake grabbed his new toy as snow fell to the ground. He walked down the block with a glimmer in his eye. He smiled, sighed, and looked up to the sky. All the lights were unplugged, not a single bulb glowing. Even unlit, the neighbor's excitement was showing. He chuckled and grinned as he turned the small knob. At once the machine started doing its job. The vacuum hummed softly as it sucked with great brawn the display from the home of sweet Janice and Ron. And once his device plucked all the decor from every window, awning, corner, and door, he moved to the home of Harry and Sharon. In his wake, every home became sad, cold, and barren. The next yard was filled with inflatable horrors. Each year Blake thought he should call up his lawyers.
These ridiculous, horrible monsters must go,
he said as his smile continued to grow. He walked house to house and took every last wreath. He hummed Christmas tunes and continued to seethe. As he came to Clark's house, he paused for a tick. He looked at the house, and it made him feel sick.
Each year, your display is so garish and bright,
he said as he balled up his fist nice and tight.
Each Christmas Eve night, as I drive home from service, your stupid, bright lights make me quite nervous. I'm so sick of not feeling merry and jolly, he said as his face grew red as a tamale. Before he could flip the machine back on, he heard a soft voice come from his lawn.
Honey, what are you doing?
His wife asked quite groggy. Her eyes, full of sleep, were quite puffy and foggy.
I was just looking at Clark's wonderful Christmas spread,
he said as he walked her back up to their bed.
I'll be back in a minute. Something's left in the lawn,
he said as Hannah fell asleep with a yawn. Once he could be sure she wouldn't awake, he ran back outside that crafty old Blake. He fired up his machine of Christmas despair. The first thing he took was Clark's large Christmas bear. He took every last inch of Clark's lawn decorations, every single one of his Christmas creations. When he finished, he sighed, feeling pride in his heart. Blake smiled and grinned, feeling clever and smart.
There's no time for them to redecorate now,
he said with mischievousness in his brow. As he put the machine away in his shed, Blake suddenly had a sense of great dread. He turned around, wham! He was hit with a stunner by the one and the only badass Texas gunner. Stone Cold was here to give back all the plunder, and Blake was left sad. Darn, shoot, what a bummer.
Wait, what the crap? I steal all the decorations, and you just swoop in, give me a stunner, and save the day?
Yeah, that's a dynamite way to end this story.
That's a terrible way to end the story. What did my fictional self learn from all of this? It needs to change.
Alright, fine. For the record, I think it's a great ending to the story. But alright, where were we? Blake turned around, saw his beer-drinking buddy, whose muscles were huge and whose cheeks were quite ruddy. Kid, the heck are you doing? Austin said more than peeved. Tell me the truth, 'cause I won't be deceived. So Blake told him everything, each last bit. Austin laughed hard and said, alright, that's it. I thought last year we learned that antics like this don't solve anything but make everyone pissed. Boy, you made a mistake. You should put it all back. Each ornament, light, wreath, and stupid knick-knack. This ain't how you handle business during Yuletide. Talk to your neighbors, kid. Suck up your pride. Hey, before I leave, you got any beer inside? They drank Christmas beer as they sat in the snow. Then Stone Cold jumped on a reindeer. He said, I gotta go. As Blake watched him fly off, he couldn't stop thinking.
Maybe Steve's right. Man, what am I thinking?
He made up his mind as he walked through the road. He knocked on Clark's door as guilt in his heart overflowed. Clark opened the door. Blake said,
We need to talk.
He explained all he'd done as Clark sat and stared in great shock. He shared his dislike about Clark's Christmas lights, how they nearly killed him some Christmas Eve nights. They agreed Blake's actions were not noble or great, but both knew together they could set things straight. They put everything back with Blake's fancy machine, as old Vern put it all back where it had been. Clark turned and asked for his own edification.
Why don't you guys come to our Yule celebration? We have church on Christmas Eve, and the lights are too bright. That's why we never come to the Christmas Eve night.
So Blake and Clark agreed that it would be best to push back and tame down the Christmas Light Fest. And that very same eve, they all sang Silent Night. As Blake flipped the switch, the lights twinkling and bright, cheering Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. There, how is that ending?
Much better, but you kept the same ending as last year. Also, you never answered why you're wearing red. Are you Santa this year?
I will stun you back to the very first Christmas if you don't shut up.
Shutting up, sir. Thank you so much for watching. If you laughed, if you find yourself relaxed, make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure you head over to the community tab to check out what we're posting over there. We're going to take a couple week break to celebrate holidays with family and see some friends and make sure that we have the content that is perfect for you to help you laugh and relax. Until next time, these are my thoughts. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you soon.